Okay, so now we're going to work on the HVDC makeup. Now, for this, there's a couple things that you're going to need. One of which is you need makeup removing wipes, just in case. You might want to get Q-tips as well. But some of the tools that we need a face primer. You will need a liquid foundation that matches your child's skin tone. You will need a face powder. Doesn't matter what brand, whatever brand works for you. You need some brushes. You'll need like a powder brush. You will need a blush brush. Please don't use the same brush for everything. It won't work. There's different kinds of foundation brushes. There's this kind that looks just like a flat paintbrush, and then there's the contouring one. It's a personal preference, but I would suggest using a brush rather than your hands, because your hands can be dirty, and then it gets bacteria, and they're sweating, and their face can break out. So a brush is always the best way to go, or you can use a sponge, whichever. You also need some brushes for eyeshadow. There's different ones. It just kind of depends on what you feel comfortable using. I usually have like a wider one for the main part of the lid, and then I have a thinner, smaller one for inside the crease. So again, you will need different brushes for different colors. Otherwise they start to blend and it's a hot mess. So now that we've got our tools, you will also need mascara. A nice black mascara, doesn't again matter what brand. This does matter, the lipstick. For the older girls and the intermediate 2, I'm trying to remember if intermediate 1 needs it or not. I don't think they do. So the 2s and the advanced need Ruby Woo. It's a red lipstick. It's a very red lipstick. It's not pink at all. It has like a blue undertone, they call to it. And it's matte. So you need that. If you are in the younger group, the lipstick that you will need is much pinker, but that's not the right color.
No, that's...
So, but you get the idea. It's more of a magenta color. So we'll get into that. You'll get a full list of the actual colors that you will need. You will also need your fake eyelashes that are not in this container. And you will also need blush. Now this is a very particular one as well. This one's made by MAC. The lipstick was also made by MAC. So this is a MAC, it's called Raisin. It's a more of an orangey bronze type color. And they will need that specific color. It just kind of gives it a contour and less of a bright cheek color. So we're gonna get started. Also, they also do need their earrings, which is about a 2-carat size diamond rhinestone earring. Clear, please no colors. It doesn't matter if they're square or round, either is fine. From the stage you won't notice the difference. Now for the face, we're gonna start with a face primer. This is just a basic CoverGirl primer. You can get expensive, again, it's a personal preference. We're gonna take it, you just put it on like lotion. Put it on all over their face. Smear it on. And this will just lock the makeup onto their face so that we get the full pigment of it. I don't know if you've ever noticed putting on makeup, sometimes you put it on and it looks like nothing ever happened. It's because there's nothing grabbing that makeup and sticking to their face. So this is what it's going to do, and it's also going to give it a nice even finish for the makeup to adhere to. Alright, now we're going to start with our foundation. This is a more of like a tinted, thick moisturizer. Again, it doesn't matter. Whatever is easiest for you. I like to put it on the back of my hand. Just makes it easier for me. And I'm going to use this flat brush. Make sure I don't get it on that eyeliner. And you just paint it on their face. Make sure you get a nice even coverage. If they have any blemishes, just make sure you get a nice and thick over that so that it covers it. You get under their eyes, in the creases. Make sure they don't fall asleep while you're doing it. If you use brushes too, you want to make sure that every once in a while you clean them. You want to, they make different brush cleaners that you can use. There's some that are sprays, some that are bars of soap, specific bars of soap that you can use. Just if you don't clean them regularly, again, bacteria can start to grow and it's just not good. So make sure you wash them once in a while. You shouldn't have to use them too frequently, so I like to clean my foundation brush after every other use. That's just my personal preference. I like it nice and clean. Yep. Again, you just want to make sure you get nice full coverage all over their face. Now, if they have really pale eyebrows, you need a eyebrow pencil and brush, and you'll need to darken those as well. Like Lily's are just on the cusp of needing it. I myself darken mine anyways. It gives your face a more youthful appearance anyways, and it helps with the expression. You know, when you get underneath those stage lights, everything just gets washed out. So it has to be fairly dark for it to be noticed. And you'll know, I'll show you when we do the cheeks, it's really pretty dark. But once they get up on that stage, it washes right out. So under normal lights, if it looks a bit on the freaky dark side, you're probably going in the right direction. Okay, I think we got pretty even coverage now going. Now that you look like a ghost. Okay, now we're going to do some powder just to kind of set the foundation so that it doesn't go anywhere. I'm going to use a brush for this. I like to use a full coverage powder. I wouldn't use a sheer powder. You want to make sure that it's got a nice, even, flawless, like a doll look. So it looks like they put their best face forward. Okay. Now I'm going to do the blush usually towards the end. I'm going to do her eyes next. You need an eye primer. If you don't get a full face primer, you can get the eye primer. If you get a full face primer, you can use this primer as well on the eyelids. It doesn't usually tend to work quite as well, so I would get a specific eye primer. This one is by Urban Decay, and you can get that at Sephora's. You might even be able to get it at Amazon. Might even get to find one at Rite Aid or Walgreens. And I'm just going to cover her entire eyelid from her eyebrow down. Not into the eyebrow, but just the entire lid you want to cover. And it's like putting on a really thick lotion. And again, this is just something that's going to grab the eye color and make it stick. And it'll make sure the pigment shows up. I'm going to do both eyes so she doesn't look lopsided. Make sure you get it on nice and smooth too. If it's kind of lumpy or not smooth, it can grab it in weird ways. And it doesn't give it an even finish. Now for eyeshadow, there's not a specific brand of eyeshadow that you need to get. But I suggest, if you don't want to get anything that's like a large palette, Lily's in her makeup kit, she's got Too Faced Natural Eyes, and when you open it, it's got a wide variety of colors. There's only like 3 colors here that you really need. One's like an off-white, a medium brown, and a dark espresso brown. Now all of these have to be a matte finish, not a shimmer finish. I personally like Smashbox. It comes with all 3 colors. And this one is called Filter. It's got vanilla, sable, and Sumatra. I'm going to use this one on her. So these are the 3 colors that we need. Now we're going to put this one above the brow bone, this one on the lid, and this one in the crease. So we're going to start with the lid first. You should close your eyes. Make sure you get nice even coverage just on the lid. Now the lighting in here is not the greatest, but it should just give it a nice neutral color. Do both eyes. This can be the hard part if you have daughters that have wiggly eyes. Training them to keep their eyes straight and not to squint. You can lift your eyebrows. Close your eyes and lift your eyebrows. Raise your eyebrows. There you go. And that'll give me a much stretched out eyelid. You have to stretch them both up. Okay, now I'm going to do the crease of the eye. I'm going to save the white for last, and just in case I get too much in the crease, I can use the white to kind of fade it a little bit. This will work. This will work. You usually don't need a lot. If you're not sure of how dark it is, just kind of test it on your hand first to see how loaded up you need to be. This one doesn't need to be very much because it gets pretty dark pretty quick. And I'm just going to take it, open your eye for a second, right where her natural crease is what I'm going to darken. Close your eyes. And we're just going to kind of blend this in a little bit. I'm going to use a thinner brush on her because she has tiny little eyelids. Now I'm going to blend this. You don't want it to look like a stripe. You want to blend it a little bit. And I kind of give it a slightly winged look. And if you have a large eyelid to work with, makes it a lot easier. Hers is tinier, so I'm bringing it down just a little bit so that the eye still has a nice almond shape to it. I'm going to do the other one. You want to avoid making them have a droopy eye. You want to make sure that the wing lifts the eye, so that if I were to take my brush and go like this, there's nothing below that. It should follow the same upward diagonal from this part of the eye to their eyebrow. It should follow that same line. Otherwise they look sad, and you don't want that. And again, if she were actually competing today, I might take a little bit more time to make this look a little bit better blended. But from stage, you really won't notice too much of this. So, if you're not talented with makeup, it's okay. And again, if you need help, practice, practice, practice. I'm going to get this a little bit darker on the outside edge. Okay. This is where makeup wipes come in handy. In case you mess up, you can wipe it off and start over. And, oh, I gotta do the upper part. I almost forgot. I always test out my brushes first, make sure they're not the wrong color. Now I'm going to take this lighter color. I'm going to go between the eyebrow and the dark. I'm just going to fill that in with some lighter. This is where it comes in handy if you didn't get it quite right. You can kind of blend it. And this should open the eye and give some height between the dark and the eyebrow.